I can't really say I'm familiar with the ESPN host Sage Steele. This is a black woman, actually a mixed race woman, who does commentary on ESPN. I'm not a regular watcher of ESPN. I do like sports. I'm watching these days tennis, the tournament that is in California going on Indian Wells. But Sage Steele got into trouble because she gave an interview on Jay Cutler's podcast. Jay Cutler is a former quarterback with the Chicago Bears. And this is a woman that is clearly very spunky, very outspoken, has real personality, and she leans right. She's kind of right of center in a kind of chatty and quite engaging way. So she apparently made some comments that have upset ESPN, and so she's been suspended. Now, let's look at these comments because, again, we see that this has now become endemic in our society. This idea that you say something and your bosses take umbrage, but it's always something that is right-leaning and most often true. So first she makes some comments about the vaccine. And her comments are actually, I think, quite benign. She goes, I respect everyone's decision, I really do. But to mandate it is sick and scary to me in many ways. She goes, but I have a job I love, and frankly, a job I need. So what she's saying is, listen, Disney, which by the way owns ESPN, Disney forced me, and so I took the vaccine. But you know what? I wasn't all that happy about being forced. Not that I wasn't happy about taking the vaccine, but I wasn't happy about them making me do it. Now, the really offensive comments that she made had to do with Obama. And I've got to read these because they're just downright great. So the topic came up on the podcast about Sage Steele being required to fill out the census form and how it basically asks you are you black? Are you white? And her point is, this is ridiculous. I'm not black and I'm not white. I'm actually both. I'm biracial, I'm multiracial. Why in America are we racializing everybody in this kind of way? And so here is the money quote, as they say. I'm going to read it to you. And this is Sage Steele talking. If they make you choose a race, what are you going to put? She goes, well, both. Referring to herself. She goes, Barack Obama chose black and he's biracial. And then she says sarcastically, congratulations to the president, that's his thing. And then she says, I think it's fascinating considering his black dad is nowhere to be found, but his white mom and grandma raised him. But okay, you do you, I'm gonna do me. Listen, I'm pretty sure my white mom was there when I was born and my white family loves me as much as my black family. That's what she said. What is the big deal? This is nothing. This is a woman who is speaking her mind and in no way getting off the reservation. Every single statement, I've kind of parsed it individually, is true. Barack Obama's dad was a complete deadbeat. In fact, he was gone even before Obama was born. The interesting question there is how Obama basically developed this kind of reverential psychosis toward this deadbeat dad who was a leftist, a communist, an anti-American, a wife beater. Ultimately, basically both his legs had to be chopped off. So he was an amputee. He was an alcoholic. He beat his wives. I mean, this is not exactly an admirable character, but yet Obama's like, I revere this guy, the dreams of my father. So that's another story, but I'm happy to say that Sage Steele is going to be back at work next week. So she wasn't expelled, she wasn't fired. They just gave her a suspension. But I don't like the suspension because what's it going to do? If anything, they're basically saying, don't speak your mind. Don't show this kind of personality. They don't want her to be her. And by the way, she wasn't even being her on ESPN. She was doing this on a podcast where they were probing her life and her response to the census. So I find the whole thing deplorable. And even though I haven't been a watcher of ESPN, I am kind of a new fan of Sage Steele.